Hey guys, I want to do an initial impression video because this is a knife I've wanted for a long time. Before I wanted to buy, I bought the Bravo 1, I wanted to buy this knife. Back then it wasn't called ESEE, it was called Rat Cutlery, which was a much cooler name and had a much cooler logo. But I didn't, and opted for the Bravo 1, I'm not sorry. However, this was one of the next things on my to buy list, or to get list. A friend of mine gave me this knife as a present. He sent me a package. I did not know what was in the package. I knew a few things, but I then saw something big, and it was heavy, and it was this knife. I was very happy. I was very happy to get this knife. And to this day, I did not manage to take it out into the woods. I'm hoping to do that as soon as possible, but I have been playing with it every day since I got it. And I love it. So I said, I'm gonna tell you the things that I noticed with this knife. And I'm gonna start the traditional way with the sheath, because I think they did a good job on the sheath. I'm gonna tell you why, and maybe you're like me and you didn't have that much experience with ESEE cutlery sheaths, or I don't know, you only saw the sheath from the Bravo 1, which is pretty crappy, or the leather sheath from the Enzo, the Trapper, first version. That was pretty crappy. So I'm gonna talk to you about this sheath. It is Kydex, and it is great. It snaps into place, and you can adjust the tension by adjusting by just moving the screw down. Now you can't move it down here because the backing is right here, but you can just take it out, and then it's gonna be loose. You can do that. You can squeeze it so it comes out even harder. As such, I have it set that I just have to push a bit and it comes out. So the knife is pretty safe in there. You do have the option of a leg strap here, a lanyard. I don't think you need it, especially not with the backing, because it's so rigid. And with the tech locks, not at all. Now the backing is pretty nice and rigid. You see that? It's pretty rigid. It does have these straps that you can place on the handle for additional safety, which I don't think you need, and the little hoodie that's just gonna keep it from getting cold. I must admit, it looks cool. I don't think you need it. Just like I don't think you need the straps. It does a pretty good job. Just the Kydex does a really nice job. And it's just my opinion, but I think this is a good-looking sheath. That's just my opinion. Now, the strap here, the loops, pretty good. This strap is very heavy duty, and the snap, very nice. I mean, there's a loud click and you have to pull on it pretty hard. Now, you have Velcro inside here, and it's pretty decent. If you have a regular thinner belt, it's gonna do the job. You're just gonna put your belt in here, and the Velcro is gonna stay pretty much going to stick to itself, and then you can put the strap through the loops and snap it in place. But if you have a wider belt like I do, my leather belt is like 2 inches, it will not, the Velcro will not stick to itself, and I don't think that's going to be a problem, because even so, you can put the strap through the loops. Let me just not close it, or I can either way. And This snap, like I said, is pretty heavy duty. I don't think it's gonna fail. So I would say like I like 90% of the sheath with the backing. Only thing I don't like, they should have made this a little longer, and it would have been perfect for me, at least. Now, another option of carry is with the tech locks, and I did carry that, and that's how I am going to carry it, with the tech locks. You're just going to mount them here, and I'm going to carry it in the small of my back on my belt, and it carries great. Some people say that it pokes you in the back, it's uncomfortable when you sit, it's uncomfortable when you drive. That might be true for them. For me, it is not true. I found it very comfortable. I wore it for only 3 or 4 hours, but no discomfort. And I really liked carrying the knife like that. I did try to put a rig together for the sheath I had on my Bravo, the Kydex sheath. Didn't work out that well. But with the tech locks and this knife, works out like a charm. So for the sheath system, very good, I would say. Except for this little inconvenience, which, well, it's nothing tragic. Now the knife. And I'm just going to tell you about things as I saw them, as I noticed them. The first thing I noticed was the choil. I took the knife out, and the choil. I always wondered. It is great. It is great. You can put your finger in there, and it's not gonna. Your finger's not gonna get cut. My finger didn't get cut. Let me put it like that. It's very comfortable. I'm imagining this for lighter tasks. So it works. It's pretty good. The second thing I noticed was how wide the blade is. I saw a lot of videos on the ESEE4 or the RC4. I watched a lot of pictures, and I couldn't imagine how wide the blade was. Just for comparison, I'm going to show you my Enzo Trapper. And you can see, I can put the Enzo Trapper over the ESEE4. It's much wider. Also, it's thicker, much thicker. I'm not that big on specifications, but I think the Trapper's 4mm thick, and this one's thicker than that. I know that the Zula is 4mm thick, and the ESEE4 is thicker than that. So it is pretty thick and pretty heavy, and I like that. Some people don't like heavy knives. I like the weight. The weight makes me feel like it's a reliable knife, and I hope it will be. Now, like I said, I noticed how wide the blade was, and then I noticed something I don't like on knives is jimping. I don't really like jimping. But if it's there, I would like it not to bother me. And this one doesn't bother me. Maybe it's because of the coating and it's not so sharp. It gives you a little traction, but it really doesn't bother my finger. I don't imagine myself holding the knife like this or having to work anyway with jimpings. I never did. The Izula was the first knife where I caught myself placing the finger up here, but that's just because it has a smaller handle and I have to push up on the blade so my whole hand fits, and then, but it's not a good idea if you work without gloves and try to shave off wood. You'll get splinters in your hand. So like I said, I don't really foresee myself going in this position. It doesn't really offer control or stability, but if it's there, I would like it not to bother me, and this one doesn't. We're good in that regard. I do also like the shape of the blade. I think Rad Cutlery has a beautiful shape to their blades. I love drop points. They're my favorite blade shape, drop points. Now, the next thing I noticed was the micarta. It's nice and grippy. It doesn't really, it's not aggressive like some G10 handles. And I also prefer micarta to G10 or to, I think, any handle material. I prefer micarta. And this one, it said that when it gets wet, it gets even grippier. I think it's plenty grippy, and it's gonna do great. Now, you can get aftermarket slabs for the handle. I've seen. I'm not gonna need it. Some people say the handle's short. For my hand, it's pretty good. So I can even move back a little. It's pretty good. And some people say it's very squarish. I do not share that opinion. I don't think it's squarish. What I do think that it is very thin profile handle. I did complain about my trapper having a thin handle. Well, this one tops it. It's wider. Well, yeah, it's a bit wider. Just a hair. But it's well, a bit thinner, not much, but a bit. And it makes a lot of difference. What will happen is when you make wood shavings and you work with hard wood and you have to really push in the knife and squeeze the knife in your hand, the muscles in your hand will get tired, and even if you don't get the hot spots in your hand and blisters, your hand will hurt and you'll have to take a break. So I don't have the problem with my Bravo 1 in that regard. This handle shape is just perfect. I didn't even take the coating off the micarta because the shape of the handle really made me feel secure with it. I took the coating off the handle of the trapper, but not of this one, so it's a perfect handle for me. I don't like this jimping, but I don't have a problem with it, just because I love the knife so much. I don't look at that detail. So, a thin handle. Now, you could wrap paracord around it, but only up to this point probably, because you still need to get the knife in the Kydex sheath. So yeah, only up to this point. Or you could use gloves. Now, the feel is good. The feel is much, much better. And I would prefer to use gloves whenever I do woodwork, but I'm just too lazy, and sometimes I like not to use them. The same problem I had with my Falcon Even F1, it was just thin profile in the handle, so like the trapper, your hand would get tired. But if you use gloves, huge improvement. So yeah, I received this knife as a present, and that's why it has this color combination. If you've seen anything in my knives, I just plain black, and the trapper, everything's black. I didn't have a choice because I didn't even know I was going to get it, and then when I got it, I fell in love with it. The color combination and everything. And to that, one more thing. The ESEE has this laser etching, and you can see the bare metal here. Some people complain that you're going to get rust there, you have to be careful. I never complain about that personally, but I do understand the concern. Now, I don't know if just the color combination makes the difference or they do it on all the knives. Here, the laser etchings, or however they do it now, are covered with paint. I initially thought it may be oxidized metal, but I think it's paint now. That's a nice attention to detail. The only bare metal you see here is the edge. So I think that's a great attention to detail. I don't really like the ESEE logo. It's just too big, and it's just unnecessary advertisement, or however you put it. Plus the wrapped cutlery logo was much cooler. Now the last thing I want to talk about, and the most important, thing is the edge. Battery died, so that gave me the opportunity to switch angles. Um, like I said, the most important thing is cutting ability. I mean, it's a good looking knife. It's gonna be able to withstand batoning and everything, and you can chuck it at trees, but does it cut? That is a very important issue. It cuts, it's razor sharp, but it does not bite into wood or plastic as it should. As this one does. And why? Because it has a different edge angle. This one is convex, bites in better. But my Trapper is a Scandi ground knife, and this one bites in very well. Well, that is because the angle on this one is about the same as on the Zula. About 35 degrees around. Either way, be it more or less, it does not really bite into wood as it should. Now, the Rat 1 folder had a V-edge, and I put a 20-degree angle on it, or maybe a bit lower, and it was a great slicer. Then I had it convexed because I just wanted to see how much it would improve the performance, since this is a beater knife. And believe it or not, it improved the performance so much that this became, again, my EDC knife. I still carry the paramilitary, but as a beater knife, this one is just great with a convex edge. Kylie over at Knives and Stuff, I saw him do it. He was the first one I saw do it. Probably people did it before, I don't know, but I saw it on his channel first. And it is the best thing you can do to this knife. It's really good to strop a V-edge to maintain its sharpness. It is great to strop this convex AUS 8 edge to keep it beyond razor sharp. And I did put a very steep angle on the micro bevel, the convex micro bevel, just for durability, and it still shaves like crazy and cuts like crazy. So that is the next thing that's going to happen to the Zula. I'm going to convex it. Now, when I'm going to convex this knife, it might be a few months or it might be 2 years. For now, I'm just going to enjoy it, and I can't wait to get it out in the woods, and you will see more of it. Hope I didn't bore you too much, and if you guys have any questions, you know I love talking knives. I wish you all a great day.